So what's the Grape Explorer talking about today? So we are back to talking about Bordeaux. As you know, or you've been following the Grape Explorer and David Cole, what I try to do is I talk about areas of the world, but I have been focusing my attentions a lot in Bordeaux because guess what? I'm very passionate about Bordeaux. But I picked out a very interesting property that a lot of people really don't know about. It's kind of, we don't want to we want to tell people, but at the same time, it is kind of a secret here. But this is a really interesting property called Chateau Paradis Casseuil, and it is owned by the Rothschild family. And when we talk about the Rothschilds, we're talking about Eric Rothschild and Lafite Rothschild. So we're going to give a really interesting history behind this illustrious family who makes fabulous wines all over the world now. So this is something that Eric Rothschild's dream was to actually start producing wines in other parts of the world besides France and besides Bordeaux too. So we're going to talk about this particular property because there is no Chateau Lafite white wine, and it would be kind of interesting to see Chateau Lafite as a white wine, or even their second wine, Carrois de Lafite, have a white wine. So this is a property, though, that we really wanted to spend the time in. It's in the region of Onche-de-Mer. So we broke out a beautiful Bordeaux map. Onche-de-Mer is a fascinating place right here because it's this gigantic yellow area. So it is considered to be the largest appellation in France. And yes, this is AOC. So all of these chateaus here, and there's quite a numerous amounts of chateaus in this area producing both white and red wines. And you've got the river Gironde, which comes here, but look, it splits, and the Gironde keeps going here, but this is the Garonne. And this is the river that is actually quite important, but look, this goes all the way down here, so it keeps going, this river. So, but Onche-de-Mer, historically, is a very good hunting ground for value. And a lot of people may not know this brand. They also produce a red too, which is, we'll talk about it another time. But I want to talk about the white. So this is also a 2024. So this is our first time to review this vintage. And this vintage was a really difficult vintage. And for white wine though, the Sauvignon Blanc was very, very good. But this has got 10% Semillon in it, and the Semillon was a problem for a lot of the producers in the Onche-de-Mer region. There was a lot of problems with flowering, with rot, and so this year was very challenging, 2024. But Sauvignon Blanc produced really good wines. But let's talk about this wine a little bit. So this is very fresh. Again, 2024. It's my first wine to talk about as a vintage. But let's just jump right into it, right off the bat. You get that beautiful Sauvignon, that purity that I love in Sauvignon, and you get like lemon curd or lemon tones on the top of the nose here. But it's beautiful, expressive, and with that little dash of Semillon, it gives that wine a little more body and bite. Let's taste the wine. You get peaches and nectarines, beautiful acidity. This really carries this wine. This would be a very friendly food wine. I would love to have this wine with oysters or any kind of shellfish and seafood. But as we're zooming in here, I want you to see this label because doesn't this look like the Chateau Lafite label? It's a beautiful label, and this is actually the capsule, so you can see that it's Rothschild R. But let's talk about this family because in 1868, Baron James Rothschild acquired Lafite Rothschild. It became obviously a first growth in 1855, but then the Lafittes went on a little bit of a hiatus from their buying, but then they bought Chateau Duhart-Milon in 62, and they bought this property in 1984, and then they bought Chateau Riasac in 1988. So you can see they were really loading up on a lot of different wines that were besides their Bordeaux property. But then they also bought, in 1988, they bought Los Vascos in Chile. They bought in 1990 Chateau Les Avengils in Pomerol, one of my favorites. Then they bought a property, a lot of people might not even know, in 1999, they bought a property in Corbière. And then they also bought a property in Argentina, in Mendoza. So Eric has really been spreading his wings And you know, I had a chance to stay at Los Vascos in Chile, they call the Hacienda Los Vascos, and what a fabulous property, all first class. But this family is really special. But this is a wine that you can get for about $15 or $16 a bottle. I know that's extraordinary value for a Lafite property to be selling, because you know, Lafite, just the wine Lafite is usually anywhere between $500 to $1,000 a bottle, but you know, you're talking first growth. But this is a value. So if you want a little piece of Chateau Lafite, or you want a piece of the Rothschild dynasty, you can find this wine. It's very easy. You just Google it and you can put it on wine searcher and you will come up with this wine. But again, this is a beautiful product. Again, this is a Grape Explorer, always talking about very interesting wines. We brought one to the plate, and this is a beauty. Cheers.